Prince, the enigmatic purple one, rewrote pop music rules, turning every stage into a private kingdom of sound. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, turned a tiny Memphis garage into a global cultural throne. Matthew Perry, the witty Chandler of Friends, turned sarcasm into a trademark that made millions laugh and relate. Maggie Smith, the sharp-tongued matriarch of stage and screen, proved that a fierce mind can outshine any role. Betty White, the beloved queen of television, showed that humor and kindness can endure across generations. Anne Heche, a fearless actress, turned raw vulnerability into a bold, unforgettable presence on screen. The world first saw Harrison Ford as a reluctant hero when a hydraulic platform collapsed on the set of Star Wars in 2015, leaving him with a concussion and a lingering headache. The incident, captured in headlines, marked a turning point, a reminder that the glint of a lightsaber can mask the weight of a real-world injury. From that moment, the public image of the unflappable Han Solo began to intersect with a more fragile reality. Born in Chicago in 1942, Ford spent his 20s hauling lumber and building sets, a practical trade that kept him grounded while he chased auditions. A chance meeting with director George Lucas in 1971 landed him a small part in American Graffiti, a film that introduced his natural, understated charisma to a new generation. The following year, Lucas cast him as the smuggler who would become a cultural icon, launching Ford into a stratosphere of fame that would define his career. The success of Star Wars was a double-edged sword. Audiences adored the swaggering pilot, but the relentless promotional circuit turned the actor into a symbol rather than a person. Ford found himself fielding endless questions about his personal life, his political views, and his thoughts on the burgeoning sci-fi phenomenon, all while trying to maintain a private sanctuary. In 1978, director Steven Spielberg offered Ford the role of Indiana Jones, a rugged archaeologist with a fedora and a whip. The character cemented the actor's status as an action hero, but it also amplified the expectation that he would always appear physically capable, unburdened by age or injury. Behind the scenes, however, Ford was grappling with the physical toll of stunt work and a demanding filming schedule that left little room for recovery. The late 1990s brought a different kind of pressure. As the Blade Runner sequel materialized, Ford was forced to confront a narrative that revisited his most iconic role, a future he had never imagined. The media spotlight intensified, dissecting every line of dialogue and every wrinkle on his face, turning his aging into a public commentary on Hollywood's obsession with youth. Health crises began to surface. In 2015, the same hydraulic accident that injured him on Star Wars left him with lingering concussion symptoms that required months of rest. 2 years later, a private plane crash in Colorado forced Ford into emergency surgery for a broken leg and a fractured pelvis. The incidents were widely reported, yet the details of his recovery remained largely private, underscoring the divide between the polished public persona and the very real human cost of his adventurous lifestyle. Ford's love of aviation, a lifelong passion, became both a solace and a source of vulnerability. He has spoken publicly about the therapeutic value of flying, But he has also faced lawsuits from former pilots alleging unsafe practices. These legal battles, settled out of court, illustrate how his personal hobbies can intersect with public accountability. Family life has provided another layer of complexity. His marriage to actress Melissa Matheson in 2010 was celebrated in the press, yet the couple has carefully shielded their 3 children from the glare of celebrity. Ford's decision to keep his family out of the spotlight reflects a deliberate effort to preserve a private sphere that the industry rarely respects. In recent years, Ford has embraced roles that allow him to explore vulnerability. The Call of the Wild, 2020, saw him portraying a weathered prospector, a performance that leaned into his own aging rather than masking it. The film's critical reception highlighted his ability to convey quiet strength without the need for the larger-than-life spectacle that once defined his career. Beyond the screen, Ford has leveraged his fame for environmental advocacy, supporting conservation efforts and renewable energy initiatives. His public statements on climate change and his involvement with organizations like Conservation International reveal a facet of his identity that extends beyond cinematic heroics. Today, as he steps onto new sets and continues to negotiate the balance between a legendary public image and the private demands of health, family, and personal passion, Ford embodies a living conversation with the icons that preceded him. The legend of Han Solo and Indiana Jones remains vibrant, but the man behind those masks is navigating a reality where fame is both a platform and a burden. The story of Harrison Ford is not one of a mythic hero who never falters. It is a narrative of a man who has turned the spotlight inward, confronting the cost of his own legend while still delivering the adventure audiences crave. In a world that often reduces icons to symbols, Ford's ongoing journey reminds us that the true measure of a hero lies in how they bear the weight of their own story.